الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الناصح الأمين. اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد. Ya ibadullah. Alhamdulillah, in the last Ramadan reminder, we spoke about the difference as relates to the Muslim and the non-Muslim when it comes to the fasting in Ramadan. And we went over the conditions that if they are met, then fasting the month of Ramadan, it becomes obligatory. So now, in light of that, we want to look at the case of the one who was not baligh. Because from the conditions is that they have to be baligh. They have to reach the age of puberty. And once they have reached the age of puberty, then the fasting of Ramadan becomes binding upon them. They have to fast Ramadan. Okay, what if they have not reached the age of puberty? So children fasting in Ramadan. Na'am. This is the question. Okay, so let's look at this issue, inshallah ta'ala. Sheikh Uthaymeen, rahmatullah alayhi, he mentions, he says, الصغير فلا يجب عليه الصيام حتى يبلغ. He said that the one who is young, the child, it is not wajib, it is not binding upon them that they fast until they reach the age of puberty. لقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, and this is due to the statement of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, رفع القلم عن ثلاث, that the pen has been lifted from three categories of people. عن النائم حتى يستيقظ, on the one who is sleeping until they wake up. On the one who is sleeping until they wake up. وعن الصغير حتى يكبر, and on the one who is a child until they become of age. وعن المجنون حتى يفيق, and upon the one who is insane until they gain their sanity. Okay. رواه أحمد وأبو داود والنسائي وصححه الحاكم. This hadith has been collected by Imam Ahmad, Imam Abu Dawood, and Imam al-Nisa'i, and it was graded authentic by Imam al-Hakim. Right. So, the child does not have to fast. Okay? The child does not have to fast. And that has to be clear. That has to be clear. The child does not have to fast. It's not binding upon the child to fast. However, does this mean that children should not fast? See, that's the question. Does this mean children should not fast? Okay, so we've established children do not have to fast, but now let's look at the issue. Should they fast? The Shaykh, he mentions, he says, لكن, but, يأمره وليه بالصوم, but his guardian, his parents, they should urge him and command him to fast. Either what? Either أطاقه, if he has the ability to do it. So if they find that their child has the ability to fast, then they should encourage them to fast and have them fast. Why? تمرينا له على الطاعة, so that this can be a lesson and an acclamation for them to get them acclimated to obedience unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Naam. And also to what? To make it easy upon them, so when they actually reach the age of puberty and they have to fast, they are used to fasting. They become accustomed to fasting. اقتداء بالسلف الصالح, and this is in imitating the righteous predecessors. رضي الله تعالى عنهم. May Allah Ta'ala be pleased with them. فَقَدْ كَانَ الصَّحَابَةُ رِضْوَانُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِمْ يُصَوِّمُونَ أَوْلَادَهُمْ وَهُمْ صِغَارٌ. that the Sahaba, they used to make their children fast, and they were little. They used to encourage their children and make their children fast while they were still little. وَيَذْهَبُونَ إِلَى الْمَسْجِدِ وَيَجْعَلُونَ لَهُمُ اللُّعْبَ من العهن يعني الصوف أو نحوه. نعم. وإذا بكوا من فقد الطعام أعطاهم اللعبة يتلهون بها. نعم. That, listen, this was the extent that the Sahaba, they used to make their children fast, and they would make for them toys. They would take them to the masjid and they would make for them toys out of cotton or out of wool. They'll make for them toys out of wool or cotton or that which is similar to it. Yeah, like stuffed dolls, right? And when the children would cry because they were hungry, then they will give them these toys as a distraction, and they will play with the toys. You know? And this comes in a hadith that is mutafiqun alayh, that the Sahaba used to do this. Okay? So this was the extent that they used to try to get their children used to fasting, that they would distract them with toys when the fast became a little difficult for them. Now, again, becomes a little difficult for them. The Shaykh is going to further explain and further mention. He says, وَكَثِيرٌ مِنَ الْأَوْلِيَاءِ الْيَوْمِ يغفلون عن هذا الأمر ولا يأمرون أولادهم بالصيام. He said, but a lot of the parents today, they are ignorant of this affair, and they do not command their children to fast, unfortunately. I know we mentioned this in the past, but it has to be mentioned because it is very unfortunate. بل إن بعضهم, but rather you find some of them يمنع أولادهم من الصيام, but some of them actually prevent their children from fasting. مع رغبتهم فيه, even though their children want to, they discourage them from fasting. ويزعم أن ذلك رحمة بهم, and they think that this is being nice to them. But this is not being nice to them, nor being merciful unto them, but actually it is setting them up for loss, because you may extinguish their enthusiasm for righteousness by discouraging them from fasting. وعياذ بالله. والحقيقة أن رحمتهم في قيام بوجوب تربيتهم على شعائر الإسلام. But rather, what is from being good to them and being nice to them is to get them acclimated upon, and you rear them upon the way that they are acclimated to establish the ways of Islam. نعم. وتعاليمهم القيمة, and that you make sure they have a good, sound Islamic education. فمن منعهم من ذلك أو فرط فيه كان ظالما لهم ولنفسه أيضا. But whoever actually, in reality, whoever prevents their children from fasting, or they are negligent as relates to it, then in reality they are oppressing their children and they are oppressing themselves as well. Okay? So it is incumbent that we encourage our children to fast. Okay? So this is important to understand. So this is not an affair that we should be lackadaisical on. We should encourage our children to fast. Okay? But however, with that, while we are encouraging our children to fast, we must always remember the original ruling upon them. So the Shaykh, he mentions, he says, in Samu, and if they were to fast, فَرَأَ عَلَيْهِمْ الضَّرَرًا بِالصِّيَامِ, and then we see that this fast is adversely affecting them due to their young age, right? It's difficult for them. فَلَا حَرَجْ عَلَيْهِ فِي مَنْعِهِمْ مِنْهُ حِينَئِذٍ. Then at that point, it is okay that we tell them, okay, break your fast. You don't have to fast right now. You don't fast right now. It's too much. Okay? So again, these are upon children that can handle it. We're not saying a baby. We're not saying a toddler. No, they can't handle it. Babies and toddlers, they eat. But if they become of age, they can handle it. They're 7, right? And the like. And they can handle the fast. Then we have them fast. But if we find that during that day, it becomes extremely difficult and this is your 7-year-old, this is your 8-year-old, it's extremely difficult upon them to fast, then you could tell them at that point, listen, okay, you stop, break your fast. Alhamdulillah, you fast half the day. Alhamdulillah, you fast the majority of the day. It's too much. It's okay. You did good. Allah Ta'ala, He loves the Muslims who do what is correct and do what is right, and you encourage them from this standpoint, and remind them that Allah Ta'ala, He loves the believers who do good. But because they don't have to fast at this point, it's okay for them to break their fast right now because it's too much for them. Now, so you be eating. This is the proper way of being easy and being good upon the children, is that everything in its proper place. Not too far to the right, you're not too far to the left, but you're right there. We're in the middle, because this is the true way. The true way is that we are in the what? We are in the middle. We take the middle course. So this is important that this is known, this is understood, and it's important that we begin to acclimate our youngsters upon righteousness before it becomes binding upon them to do it, so that when it becomes binding upon them to do it, they can transition into it with smooth and ease بإذن الله تعالى. طيب، فنكتفي بهذا القدر، وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وجزاكم الله خيرا.